We seek strength everywhere outside of ourselves, in the world, yet the key to our most profound vitality is already within. A simple misunderstanding of this inner power can lead to a constant, slow drain on our life. The final insight we will reach together today can truly change the way you inhabit your own body. Stay until the end, for this understanding is the most important of all. Vital essence. Have you ever considered where your energy truly comes from? Not just the energy from food or from sleep, but the deeper energy, the very foundation of your life. In many ancient traditions, this is understood as a form of vital essence. You can picture it like the wax of a candle. Each of us is born with a certain amount of this wax. The flame on top of the candle is your life, your daily activities, your thoughts, your emotions. You can choose to have a very large, bright and wild flame, but in doing so, you will consume the wax very, very quickly. Or you can learn to cultivate a calm, steady and consistent flame. This flame still provides light and warmth, but it conserves the wax, allowing the candle to burn for a much, much longer time. This vital essence is the basis of our health, our mental clarity, and our longevity. It is the root of our physical strength and the wellspring of our creative and spiritual potential. When this essence is abundant, we feel robust, focused, and resilient. When it is depleted, we feel tired, scattered, and vulnerable. Now, let us consider the body. The body is an incredible vessel, a microcosm of the universe itself, with its own rhythms, its own seasons, and its own methods of preserving and expending energy. The act of creating life is the most potent and energy-intensive process a living being can undertake. Therefore, the substances and energies involved in this process are the most precious and concentrated forms of this vital essence. They are, in a sense, the deepest reserves of that candle wax. When we engage in the act of release, especially on a daily basis, we are constantly dipping into this deep reserve. It is not a question of morality, of right or wrong. This is very important to understand. It is a question of physics, of inner economics. You are making a withdrawal from your most fundamental energy account. If you do this only occasionally, the body has time to rest, to recover, and to replenish some of that essence. The system can find its balance again. But when it becomes a daily habit, the body is in a constant state of expenditure. It never has the chance to fully recover. Imagine a farmer who has a deep well on his land. This well provides water for his crops, his animals, and his family. If he draws a bucket of water each day, the well has time to be refilled by the underground springs. The water level remains stable, but what if he starts drawing 10 buckets a day, every single day? Soon, he will be drawing water faster than the spring can replenish it. The water level will drop. The water may become murky. Eventually, the well may run dry. This daily habit is like drawing too much water from the well of your life force. The prostate, in this context, is a key gateway, a crucial station in this energetic process. It is not merely a physical gland, but a center that is intimately involved in the management and transformation of this potent vital essence. When it is constantly being stimulated and called upon to perform its function of release, it is in a state of perpetual work, of perpetual outflow. This sustained demand can lead to a kind of energetic exhaustion within that specific area and, by extension, the entire system. We are not looking at this from the perspective of a disease, but from the perspective of harmony and disharmony. A body in harmony is a body where energy is preserved and circulated efficiently. A body in disharmony is one where energy is constantly leaking out. The daily release is one of the most significant potential leaks of this vital essence, and its effects on our overall state of being are far more profound than we often realize. It is a quiet drain on the very battery of our life. This is not to create fear. Fear is a contracting emotion, and it does not help. The goal is to bring awareness. Awareness is expansive. When you are aware of how you are using your energy, you can begin to make different choices. You are not a victim of your urges. You are the custodian of your own life force. The first step is simply to observe, to recognize the pattern without judgment, to acknowledge that with every single act of release, a significant amount of your deepest, most fundamental energy is being expended and sent out of your system. It is a treasure that, once spent, is very difficult to get back. Understanding this is the beginning of a new relationship with your body, a relationship based not on fleeting gratification, but on long-term cultivation and profound self-respect. It is the shift from seeing the body as a playground to understanding it as a temple. And in this temple, the most sacred offering is the preservation of its own inner light, its own vital fire. The choice of how brightly and how quickly you burn your candle is, and always will be, entirely your own. The wisdom lies in knowing that you have a choice at all. This simple recognition can be the start of a remarkable journey inward, a journey of reclaiming your own power and vitality from a habit that silently takes it away, day by day. Body's language. Our body is in constant communication with us. It speaks a language that is far older and more honest than words. It speaks through sensations of energy, of fatigue, of warmth, of cold, of tension, and of ease. But in our modern world, we are surrounded by so much noise, both externally and internally, that we have forgotten how to listen. We are distracted by screens, by endless to-do lists, by the constant chatter of our own minds. And so we miss the subtle whispers of the body. When the body whispers and we do not listen, it begins to speak more loudly. And if we still do not listen, it begins to shout. What we often call symptoms of illness are in many cases the body shouting for our attention, trying to tell us that there is a deep imbalance that needs to be addressed. It is a compassionate messenger, even if the message it brings is one of discomfort. It is asking us to please pay attention. Please look at what you are doing. Let us apply this understanding to the daily habit of releasing our vital essence. When this becomes a constant pattern, the body sends clear signals. Perhaps you feel a persistent sense of tiredness that sleep doesn't seem to cure, a kind of deep cellular fatigue. You might find that your mind is foggy, that your ability to concentrate for long periods is diminished. Your memory might not be as sharp as it once was. You might feel a lack of motivation, a dullness in your spirit, a feeling of being less vibrant, less alive. These are not random occurrences. They are the body's language. They are the whispers. The body is telling you that its reserves of that foundational energy, that candle wax, are running low. It is telling you that the well is being depleted. The lower back might feel weak or ache, as this area is considered an energetic seat of the kidneys, which are closely related to our foundational essence. Your knees might feel weak. Your vision might even be less clear. These are all subtle signs that the root energy of the system is being compromised. The prostate itself can also begin to speak. This area, which is a center of such potent energy, can become a site of stagnation and disharmony when it is put under constant, unnatural demand. Imagine a busy crossroads in a city. If the traffic flows in a balanced rhythm, everything is smooth. But if you force a constant one-way stream of traffic through it day and night without rest, what happens? Congestion, blockages. The entire flow of the city is disrupted. The daily mechanical act of release, devoid of genuine connection or higher purpose, creates a similar kind of energetic congestion. It disrupts the natural, harmonious flow of energy in the lower part of the body. The body is trying to communicate this disharmony. It might communicate through subtle feelings of discomfort, of pressure, or of inflammation in that region. From a purely physical perspective, modern science has its own explanations, but from an energetic perspective, this is the body speaking its truth. It is a sign that a vital center is being overused and energetically drained, leading to a local imbalance that can have ripple effects throughout the entire system. We must learn to become translators of our body's language. When you feel that persistent fatigue, instead of immediately reaching for a stimulant like coffee, perhaps you can ask, what is my body trying to tell me? Where am I losing my energy? When you feel that mental fog, instead of blaming it on a lack of sleep, you could consider, is my vital essence being scattered? This is a profound shift in perspective. It moves us from a place of passive suffering to a place of active, compassionate inquiry. The body is not our enemy. It is our most loyal friend and wisest teacher. Its messages are always for our benefit, designed to guide us back toward balance and harmony. The daily habit of release numbs our ability to hear these messages. It creates a cycle of depletion and craving that masks the body's true state. We feel tired, so we seek a moment of pleasure to feel better, but that very act depletes us further, making us more tired in the long run. We are caught in a loop. Listening to the body's language is the way to break this loop. It requires stillness. It requires patience. It requires that we value the subtle whispers of our inner world more than the loud demands of our fleeting desires. When you begin to listen, truly listen, you will be amazed at the wisdom your body has to share with you. It will guide you step by step back to a state of wholeness, vibrancy, and true sustainable energy. Mindful intention. The mind is the director. Where the mind goes, the energy, the chi, follows. This is a fundamental principle of all inner work. The same physical action can have vastly different effects on our being, depending entirely on the intention and the state of mind behind it. Consider the act of eating. You can eat a meal while scrolling on your phone, your mind 1,000 miles away. You barely taste the food. The body receives nutrients, yes, but the act is mechanical and the energetic benefit is minimal. Or you can eat the same meal with full presence. You look at the colors, you smell the aromas, you savor each bite, you feel gratitude for the food. In this state, the body receives the nourishment on a much deeper level. The act becomes a form of meditation, a moment of connection. The physical action is the same, eating, but the intention transforms its entire quality and impact. The mind, your intention, is the active ingredient that changes everything. Now, let us bring this principle to the act of releasing our vital essence. This is perhaps the most powerful and energetically charged action a human being can perform. Therefore, the intention behind it is of the utmost importance. When the act is performed daily as a habit, what is the usual intention? Often, it is driven by a feeling of tension, of boredom, of stress, or simply of mindless compulsion. The mind is seeking a quick release, a momentary distraction, a fleeting sensation of pleasure to escape a state of discomfort. It is a reactive behavior. In this state, the mind is scattered and the energy is violently expelled from the body in a chaotic way. It is a pure drain. There is no mindfulness, no presence, no higher awareness. It is an act of taking from oneself. This scatters not only the body's physical essence, but also the mind's focus and the spirit's light. It reinforces a pattern of seeking satisfaction outside of oneself, of being a slave to impulse. Contrast this with a different quality of intention. In some ancient traditions, this same powerful energy is not seen as something to be wasted, but as something to be cultivated, exchanged, and transformed. When the act is part of a loving, committed relationship, for example, the intention is completely different. It is about connection, about sharing, about union. The energy is not just expelled, it is shared. The state of mind is one of presence, love, and mutuality. The energetic effect is therefore entirely different. It can be a bonding, even a healing experience. This is not to say that it does not involve an expenditure of essence. It often does. But the context of a loving, mindful intention changes its character from a purely solitary drain to a shared exchange. The mind's focus on connection rather than just release creates a completely different energetic circuit. The experience becomes one that can potentially elevate the spirit rather than simply depleting the body. The key here is mindfulness. The daily habitual release is, by its very nature, a mindless act. It is a form of automation. You are not choosing it, you are running a program. This program weakens the will and clouds the consciousness. The path to reclaiming this energy is not through force or self-aggression. It is not about saying, I will stop this through gritted teeth. This kind of forceful suppression often creates more internal conflict and tension, which can be just as damaging. The path is through cultivating a mindful intention in all areas of your life. When you practice being present with your breath, when you practice being present while you walk, while you eat, you are strengthening your muscle of awareness. As your awareness grows, you begin to see the habitual urge to release for what it is, just a pattern of energy and thought. You are no longer identified with it. You can observe it rise and you can observe it fall without being compelled to act on it. You create a space between the impulse and the action. In that space lies your freedom. In that space lies your power to choose. You can then ask yourself with this newfound clarity, what is the truest, highest use of this powerful, creative, vital energy within me? This question, born of mindful intention, changes the entire game. It shifts the focus from mindless release to conscious cultivation, and that is the beginning of true self-mastery, cultivating stillness. So, we have this powerful, vital energy within us. We understand that its daily, mindless release depletes our essence, clouds our mind, and drains our spirit. We understand that our body speaks to us of this imbalance, and that our intention directs the flow of this energy. The question that naturally arises is, what do we do? If this energy builds up, the pressure can feel immense. The urge for release can seem overwhelming. The answer, the true and lasting solution, does not lie in suppression, nor does it lie in indulgence. It lies in a third path, the path of transformation. We must learn to transform this raw, potent energy into higher, more refined forms of energy. We learn to turn lead into gold. This is the art of inner alchemy, and its primary tool is the cultivation of stillness. Stillness does not mean emptiness or doing nothing. True stillness is a state of profound alertness, presence, and inner alignment. The primary practice for cultivating this is meditation. When you sit in stillness, even for just 10 or 15 minutes a day, you begin to change the entire flow of energy in your system. Normally, our energy is constantly flowing outwards, through our senses, our thoughts, our actions, our speech. In meditation, we gently guide this energy to flow inwards and upwards. We are not fighting our thoughts. We are simply letting them be without getting attached to them. We are not resisting the body's urges. We are observing them as passing clouds in the vast sky of our awareness. This practice of sitting and observing begins to build a strong inner container. Instead of the energy leaking out through the bottom of the vessel, it is contained and begins to rise. This raw, creative energy, this Jing, when it is preserved and contained, naturally begins to transform. It refines itself into Qi, which is the energy of vitality that animates the body and circulates through the energy channels. This is the energy you feel as vibrancy, as health, as the power to get things done. When you have an abundance of Qi, you don't need to seek fleeting pleasures, because your very state of being is one of pleasantness and strength. This is why practices like Qigong or Tai Chi are so powerful. They are forms of moving meditation. Through gentle, mindful movements and coordinated breathing, you are actively guiding the Qi throughout your body. You are consciously circulating your life force, strengthening the organs, clearing blockages, and harmonizing the entire system. You are taking the raw material of your vital essence and actively weaving it into a tapestry of health and resilience. This journey is not about becoming someone who is without desire. It is about becoming the master of your own inner energies. The desire for release does not vanish because you fight it. It diminishes because the energy that once fueled it has been given a higher, more fulfilling purpose. You are no longer trying to empty yourself to feel a moment of peace. You are learning to become so full of vibrant, refined energy that your natural state is one of peace and contentment. The prostate, that physical and energetic gateway, is no longer seen as a source of trouble or compulsive behavior, but is respected as a sacred gatehouse, which, when properly guarded, preserves the most precious treasure of the temple, your own life force. Through stillness, you learn that everything you are seeking outside, vibrancy, peace, fulfillment, is already inside you, waiting to be cultivated. The choice, then, is not between release and suppression. It is between leakage and cultivation. It is the difference between a life lived at the mercy of every impulse, a boat tossed on the waves, and a life of conscious direction, a ship with a master at the helm, sailing toward the clear light of awareness. This power, this deep and abiding vitality, is your birthright. It has simply been forgotten. The path back is through stillness. It is through listening to your body. It is through mindful intention. It is a quiet path, a gentle path, but it leads to a strength that is unshakable and a peace that is profound. This is why practices like Qigong or Tai Chi are so powerful. They are forms of moving meditation. Through gentle, mindful movements and coordinated breathing, you are actively guiding the Qi throughout your body. You are consciously circulating your life force, strengthening the organs, clearing blockages, and harmonizing the entire system. You are taking the raw material of your vital essence and actively weaving it into a tapestry of health and resilience. It is the fuel for your clarity, your creativity, and your spirit. When you understand this, the choice becomes very clear. Why would you waste the very substance that can be used to build a palace on a momentary whim? Cultivating stillness through meditation and mindful movement is the practical method for turning the lead of raw impulse into the gold of spiritual consciousness. It is the path of true power, a power that comes not from taking, but from preserving, cultivating, and transforming. This journey is not about becoming someone who is without desire. It is about becoming the master of your own inner energies. The desire for release does not vanish because you fight it. It diminishes because the energy that once fueled it has been given a higher, more fulfilling purpose. You are no longer trying to empty yourself to feel a moment of peace. You are learning to become so full of vibrant, refined energy that your natural state is one of peace and contentment. The prostate, that physical and energetic gateway, is no longer seen as a source of trouble or compulsive behavior, but is respected as a sacred gatehouse, which, when properly guarded, preserves the most precious treasure of the temple, your own life force. Through stillness, you learn that everything you are seeking outside, vibrancy, peace, fulfillment, is already inside you, waiting to be cultivated. The choice, then, is not between release and suppression. It is between leakage and cultivation. It is the difference between a life lived at the mercy of every impulse, a boat tossed on the waves, and a life of conscious direction, a ship with a master at the helm, sailing toward the clear light of awareness. This power, this deep and abiding vitality, is your birthright. It has simply been forgotten. The path back is through stillness. It is through listening to your body. It is through mindful intention. It is a quiet path, a gentle path, but it leads to a strength that is unshakable and a peace that is profound. I came to this video expecting a simple yes or no answer. I'm leaving with a completely new understanding of my own body and energy. The analogy of the candle wax, that's going to stay with me for a long time. It's not about shame or guilt, it's about preservation and respect for oneself. Thank you for this profound wisdom. It feels like I've been given a map when I didn't even know I was lost.